wasn't overhit, it was perfectly hit in the positional sense. Their awareness of Azpilicueta just about helped Chelsea get away with maybe what would have been the first chance of the game.
It was like the old days under Antonio Conte. Last week, Chelsea and Frank Lampard went to a back three with Azpilicueta and Alonso as wing-backs. Firmino looking to get in on the end of that loose ball. It was Christensen, the defender.
And leading up to that chance, Lee, that little dummy by Salah, the weight of the pass into him and the awareness of Henderson's running behind, took two players out the game, Mo Salah, without even touching the ball.
Here's Conte. Dispossessed. Andrew Robertson surging forward. Firmino in space. Threads it into Mane. There's the cross to the edge of the area where Henderson was lurking. It was over his head. Nicely done by Alexander-Arnold against Mason Mount. England colleagues now, of course. Alexander-Arnold was looking for Salah. Abraham in a physical tussle with Matip, which the big defender wins on this occasion. He's keeping Joe Gomez out of the side, a highly rated young defender. Alexander-Arnold again. Tries to switch this time, but it's behind Mane and ahead of Robertson, and Chelsea will have a throw.
He's telling Robertson to go for it. That was a poorly hit ball, but Robertson already decided that was too far. But it's interesting, both sides setting up 4-3-3, but completely different setups. So Abraham being the top of the Arsenal players right up the pitch against... Sorry, Arsenal. I just said Arsenal, can't help myself. The Chelsea players. And then on the flip side, Firmino at the other end, who's playing down the middle, he drops deeper, so he's the one that just comes into the number 10 area. So different roles for different number 9.
Interesting to see how Tammy Abraham can work this out in terms of where does he have to take a position, because at the moment Van Dijk's on his toes with Matip covering. Just a second ago Matip pressed in, followed him in. Puzzle for Tammy Abraham that he's got to work out. That's all part of the learning curve for a young player.
Well, he scored an incredible 7 goals in his last 3 Premier League games. He's the second top scorer in the league. He got 2 at Norwich, 2 against Sheffield United in that draw here, and then 3 at Wolves in that 5-2 romp at Molineux. Tomori, another academy product, promoted to the first team by Frank Lampard, who had him on loan in the Championship at Derby last season, as he did Mason Mount. Conte towards Willian in the penalty area, eased off it by Virgil van Dijk.
Great recovery by Virgil van Dijk, because he almost got the wrong side. Let William get the wrong side of him here. Watch this pass, lovely weighted pass, and there he just adjusts his position. Van Dijk gets his body in place. Nothing wrong with that as well. Good recovery.
It's the physical strength, not only of how fast you run, how quick your legs are, etc., but this upper body strength of Van Dijk there. Just leaned across with his arm, put it straight across Williams' chest and just held him back.
A few running repairs for Jordan Henderson.
They cut the socks, a lot of the players, so that's going to be what keeps the sock together between their sort of just above their ankle. And
why did they do that?
Complicated.
Because they can. We weren't allowed when we were playing. One pair of socks lasted the whole season.
Did you have to take them home and wash them yourselves?
I did at Chester City, when I used to take my own training kit home. My mum used to wash it.
You were spoilt.
That's a Chelsea ball. Oh, just picked away down the sideline by Alexander-Arnold. So there's Sadio Mane. He's on 49 Premier League goals. He got 2 against Newcastle last week. In all competitions in 2019, he's got 23 goals, 8 more than Mo Salah. And we talked about it at the pitchside desk. There's a little rivalry developing between the two that just boiled over temporarily at Turf Moor the other week. Well, Tomori, well, I thought he'd limped away after he'd played that ball back towards his goalkeeper.
Caught his foot on the Astro on the pitch, the artificial surface as he came off the pitch there.
Yeah, he's just limping slightly on that right foot, isn't he? Alonso got a start last week at Molineux. Lost his place when it's a back 4 to Emerson Palmieri.
And I think Frank's absolutely right in that situation. I think Palmieri's a much better player in a back four than Alonso. Better at one-on-one situations.
But if you've got three centre-backs and wing-backs, then you'd want Alonso and his offensive production.
Yep.
Fabinho finds Henderson. Liverpool's travelling supporting good voice away to our left-hand side.
Not a lot of space out there, is there, at the moment, Lee?
No, we expected it to be tight. There's no reason for it not to be. A lot of talented players, all hungry for the ball. Good move from the left from Chelsea.
Lovely feet by Kovacic. Mason Mount full of intent against Martip. The low cross goes in. Will it reach Willian? Just outside the 6-yard box. It was well defended by Andrew Robertson, who immediately then springs outside the penalty area to make himself available for a counter-attack. Now it's drop of the shoulder by Wijnaldum, but he can't find Mane in the way with Cesar Azpilicueta. Lovely build-up by Chelsea down their left-hand side.
Yeah, great build-up on the left-hand side, but keep your eye on the top of the screen. Willian, Robertson, watch Robertson's position. Just got his eye on Willian. He can't go in front there. He's just waiting in the danger area, and really good defending to get in front of the Chelsea striker, just there, just to clear the ball. It's quite easy to fall asleep at that far post, as Graham will testify.
I nearly fell asleep during that sentence.
Now, boys. Willian, I think Abraham's going to be offside here. The flag does go up.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, though, in the sense of the run was absolutely spot on. It was the right run, given where Liverpool were and how high their back line was.
Ball over the top towards Sadio Mane. Azpilicueta is the defender. Support arrives from Robertson. N'Golo Kante with a trademark tackle. Keeps the ball in play and finds his teammate. That's what he does so well. Little shove in the back by Van Dijk. He will help Tammy Abraham to his feet. The only player in Premier League history, by the way, to score a hat-trick and an own goal in the same game as he did at Wolves last weekend. Frank Lampard has promoted youth. Chelsea banned by FIFA for 2 transfer windows from signing players. All 11 Premier League goals have been scored by academy products aged 21 or under. 7, as I've mentioned, by Tammy Abraham. Tomori's scored. Mason Mount has scored. Prior to this season, only 16 of Chelsea's previous 424 goals were scored in similar circumstances. Is that a foul on the edge of the area? It is. Mane went down. It's a yard outside the area. Christensen with the challenge.
Well, brilliant play from Fabinho. Brings it down and drives through into the midfield. And then the earliness of the pass creates the chance. And Christensen just a bit too eager to put his foot in there. Azpilicueta, decent position. And then just catches the back of Mane's leg. And this is dangerous. You might say, some people might say this is a little bit too close. Can you get it up and over the wall? But the technique is one of a quick sort of lean back and trying to get the power into it, or you just lay it to one side. I think they'll shoot straight from the kick. Don't like free kicks that are moved, do you? You know, when you move it, it gives the chance to get it closed down. So I think this will be a direct strike, and certainly Henderson's looking like he fancies it, but Alexander-Arnold, I'll be surprised if he's not the one.
We'll keep our eye on Emerson out there. I think he's struggling with an injury, hence why we saw Marcus Alonso warming up a few moments ago, so there could be a switch in the offing for Chelsea. Meanwhile, there's this free kick opportunity on the edge of the penalty area. Henderson striding back. In the middle is Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold! Oh, yes! Rolled into his path by Mo Salah, and Alexander-Arnold finds the top corner. A beautifully taken free kick, and Liverpool are in the lead at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 1. Pandemonium in the corner.
Well, I hate free kicks when you move it. You should just shoot direct. Absolutely fooled me, that's for sure. Superb free kick, Graham.
Absolutely, and that's the benefit of moving the ball, obviously. There to see. Just changes the angle for the player coming onto it, and as long as you know what you're doing, you've set your sights on the striker, the power he generates there. You've got 2 players outside the wall, they just create that little bit of space, and it's hit perfectly, isn't it? And Kepa, the keeper, didn't move across as the ball moved across. difficult, impossible to save with the quality of the strike.
His first goal since November of 2018. He managed one in the Premier League last season. I think that was a free kick against Watford. So Marcos Alonso, meanwhile, is on the field. There he is. And Emerson, not sure what the problem was with him, but he hasn't lasted 15 minutes. Alonso gets his first touch. Given away by Jorginho, then a heavy challenge on Mane. Advantage being played here. Michael Oliver may want to revisit that with Jorginho. Could be a yellow card in his near future. A big test for Chelsea's young guns now, trailing the European champions by a 1-0 at home. Here's Abraham looking to respond immediately, and he finds Mason Mount. Outside of him is Alonso. This is where he can be dangerous. Lovely ball in. And it forced the hurried clearance, a slice by Virgil van Dijk to concede the corner. And we're hearing from the Chelsea bench it was a hamstring problem for Emerson. Tomori scored his first Chelsea goal against Wolves last weekend. Now Willian chips it into the area. Van Dijk with the header clear. Then Kovacic clashes with Fabinho on the edge of the penalty area. It's come off the man in red last. And Kovacic is feeling the effects of that clash. Ninth consecutive Premier League start for Andy Robertson, enjoying his best run in the first team. Kovacic spins away from Mane. Here's Tomori. Oh, heavy challenge by Fabinho. It was a little OTT, that one. Free kick.
There's the eagerness to set Liverpool on an attack, wasn't it?
Kovacic might need a standing egg count in a minute. Jorginho flicks it towards Willian. And here's N'Golo Kante. Robertson appealing for offside. I wonder if that's why Willian left it to Kante. Here's Azpilicueta towards the byline. Corner kick. Good response by Chelsea. Alonso to take it. 3 Chelsea players around the penalty spot. Alonso to take it. 3 Chelsea players around the penalty spot. Tammy Abraham on the edge of the 6-yard box. In towards the back post. Adrian did well to go through the sea of bodies to get a right fist on that. And away goes Alexander-Arnold. Finds Salah. The touch a little too heavy.
How quickly they break Liverpool, though, Lee. See Firmino charging forwards there. Salah ran out of pitch, but Firmino and Mane both broke. As soon as Fabinho won the ball, those 3 were off.
Liverpool are due a win away at a Big Six rival. They've won only one of their last 12 away games. That was the Spurs at Wembley last season. Only one clean sheet in their last 17. In the Champions League, they've lost 6 of their last 8, including that defeat in Naples during the week. They won the big one, of course, in Madrid in the Champions League final against Tottenham in June. But it's a side of their game, perhaps, that needs to improve. They've turned Anfield into an absolute fortress, and they are seeking a 15th consecutive Premier League win today, home and away, which will equal the second best ever streak in the top flight in English football, which has been going for well in excess of 100 years. That was Manchester City, who also own the longest streak of 18 straight wins. These two teams, and we saw it in evidence again yesterday with City's 8-0 thrashing of Watford, are pushing each other to new heights in the Premier League. Henderson. Challenge came in from Tomori. He's caught Jordan Henderson, and this will be a booking for Fikayo Tomori, who pleads his innocence to Michael Oliver, but I'm not sure that's going to wash with Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson's position, no midfield player anywhere near him, so the centre-back's got to come out and take him. And that's one of the problems I've seen over the last few games with Chelsea, is that pass into midfield. Sometimes too easy to get it into there for midfield players to turn, and then the back four has to drop off. On that occasion, Tomori decides to go in himself and gets there late.
Cover your ears, Lee. Arsenal losing
Chelsea's perspective. He's unmarked there. Alonso stays off him, gives him way too much space and then reacts, and it's a free header from 6 yards. He's not going to miss that.
I just find it amazing that a slight bit of movement from Mane takes Christensen out of the way. Alonso doesn't move, the gap's there, Firmino goes in, heads it in the goal. Movement in the box shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter at all. If you attack the ball, doesn't matter where it's going in the box, you attack the ball as the defensive part of the team, then nobody will get a head on it. You get a run on it yourself by attacking the ball. But with all standing still, one bit of movement from Mane, all of a sudden the gap opens up, it's 2-0.
Here's Henderson as Liverpool hunt more. A little flashpoint there with Jorginho. They go chest to chest. Liverpool's captain doesn't need to do anything silly.
Suddenly they find themselves in control of this game, don't they, Liverpool? 2 free kicks, 2 goals.
What it does, Graham, as we know, on that particular one from the side, you're expecting it to come in right. As a defender, you can set your body position facing out from the goal because you know it's going to get whipped into you. As soon as it goes the other way, you then start facing your goal. People get run onto the back of you, and all of a sudden you lose players. So that little change of direction coming in from Robertson just uneased the defence of Chelsea, but no real excuse. He's heading the ball in from 5 yards out. Come on guys, where's your keeper as well?
Well, here come Chelsea again through Azpilicueta. Willian. It's an excellent defensive line from Liverpool. They're just allowing the Chelsea players to drift into offside positions, as Azpilicueta has done there. Marvellously drilled back line. I just want to tidy something up about the goal, Graham. What about the award of the free kick originally for the foul by Azpilicueta? Are you okay with it?
Yeah, I agree with Lee.
And that's what we're talking about in terms of margins. His left foot in an offside position. Hence why the Chelsea goal, the equaliser, was chalked off. And that looks fair enough.
Look at the change of position now. As soon as it's gone onto the left foot, they start facing the ball, they get square on, they don't know what's going in between them. And then look at the gap. Alonso flat-footed. Not good enough from Chelsea.
Been talking before the game about the difference between the two teams in terms of where they're currently at, and you can just see this Liverpool team. They know each other so well. They know their system, they know their manager, their intuition and understanding between each other.
It was given away by Jorginho. There's Firmino, who now has 51 Premier League goals. He got his 50th at Turf Moor. Ironic cheers from the Stamford Bridge home fans as Chelsea are awarded a free kick by Michael Oliver.
And there just seems to be a much better connection, obviously, between the Liverpool players, both, you know, as you go up the pitch in possession and also defensively. That's what Chelsea have to develop over time.
Mount leaping with Fabinho, sent forward by Henderson. Azpilicueta wins the header above Mane. Now Conte for Chelsea. Now here's Mount in a useful position between the lines. Christensen. Faded off the scene a little last season, didn't he, Andreas Christensen? But he's now started 7 of Chelsea's 8 games at centre-back so far this season.
That's 13 goals he's conceded now, isn't it, this season?
Yep.
Which, it's not a great return, is it? Averaging 2 goals a game. Got to tighten that up, and I think it is the midfield as well as the defence. It's not just...
Salah will not leave Tomori alone. In the end, he fouls him. He's got a wry smile on his face. Given away by Mount this time. Little groan cascades around the stands here. And Kovacic has gone in heavily on Martip. Chelsea ball though. Willian just invites Azpilicueta forward. Willian available, corner of the area. Here's Jorginho, first time ball in. Abraham can't get there ahead of Adrian. But Abraham stayed down.
Yeah, his foot was up then, Adrian's, wasn't it? He was coming up to protect himself. Often a goalkeeper will leave his foot up there. If a player did that, jumped to head the ball and stuck the foot up, the referee would give a free kick. Goalkeepers get away with stuff, don't they? Here it is, just watch him coming out. Foot comes up, knee in the back of the head. If he's going to head that,
particularly as that's done in self-preservation, Lee, isn't it?
Well, they do it to protect themselves and
do it to injure people. I know enough goalkeepers who tell you in training, no, I've come out to protect myself, but also if it hits somebody, then so be it. That's just the way it is. Because it's a specialised position, they do get, put their hands up to try and catch a ball, and they drop it, they get a free kick against them, or for them, because they say, well, you shouldn't really drop it must have been fouled. Well, a lot of the time they're not.
It's the left shoulder that appears to be the problem. The youngest Chelsea player ever to score a Premier League hat-trick last week, 21 years and 347 days. Since the start of last season, when he was at Aston Villa on loan, 32 league goals in 41 starts, 25 of them for Villa, who were promoted through the playoffs.
No, I'm not letting this go. I think that's a foul. Because if that's a centre-back coming to head it, and he, instead of his hands, he heads it with his head, and then he follows through with his knee that high up and hits him in the back of the neck.
It's reckless, isn't it?
Foul.
Henderson.
I'll let it go now. I've had enough. I've had enough talking about that.
Care to add anything, Graham?
Well, technically it's endangering an opponent, isn't it? But you're never going to see a referee give a decision for that. It's an accepted part of the game, isn't it? And as Lee says, specialist position, they get away with, different behaviour, goalkeepers.
They're all a bit strange, aren't they, goalies? Let's have it out there. I'm just throwing it out
but
there.
You've let it go. Here's Willian, lovely bit of skill. But again, it's that Liverpool backline. I suppose it's a timing of the pass that has to improve slightly, doesn't it? Because the runs are being made.
Yeah, but if you look how high the midfield were, then here we go. Salah's in
against Tomori. Still Salah kills it, takes a deflection and goes wide. I think that was headed for the corner.
The touch there from Salah to bring him back in towards the goal to open that space up was phenomenal. So easy there for Liverpool to break. Alonso taken out the game with the pass. That touch there takes the ball away from Tomori, who's then really stretching. Christensen comes across. I think he's a bit disappointed a little with the strike in the end, because the build-up play was absolutely perfect by Mo Salah.
Yeah, I think if you look at that ball, where it's come from, the position of Alonso, Tomori's got to be a little bit aware of that. The fullback might just get the ball over his head. He's got to be a little bit more on the cover. And as he went over, I think in the end Tomori just caught Christensen on the foot or the ankle.
Looks like the left knee is being worked on. Kurt Zouma is on the bench. You saw a shot there of Antonio Rudiger, who isn't available, but you always worry when you see knees being flexed like this.
Just going back to those high line and the runs, if you look where the Chelsea players were, they were all virtually on the same line as the Liverpool. This is the just comes in, just catches him, Tomori, as he slides to try and block that. But the midfield were very high. They made early runs and they got level, and it needs a deep run. You need a deep run going from where the ball is virtually, and then timing. If you're up with the line, it's very difficult to time that, because you're right on the last line and the ball gets played through. I think always get in with a deep runner.
So Frank Lampard then?
Yeah, that type of thing. But it's a gamble from Liverpool's point of view, because every now and again we'll get one in. We've already had Abraham in on an offside that we thought, and he wasn't. because Alexander-Arnold played him on. So it is a risky game to play, but they're very good at it, Liverpool. They get pressure on the ball as well, which is good.
Christensen is really struggling here. It looks unlikely that he'll be able to continue. We'll keep our eye on it. Not ideal that Chelsea are about to defend a corner either, now shorn of one of their two centre-backs. I'm not sure that Kurt Zouma has been summoned just yet.
I just saw Frank Lampard saying I can't hear anything in his earpiece.
Fabinho. Header won by Azpilicueta. Jorginho. Towards Conte. Lovely little chest control there for Tammy Abraham. Kovacic against Alexander-Arnold, who defends that expertly. Concedes the throw instead of the corner. And just out of shot, Christensen is just walking very slowly down the sideline, and he keeps reaching down for that left knee. The back of the left knee, and it's Kurt Zouma who's getting ready to come into the game. So that'll be the second substitution due to injury in this first half for Chelsea. Now Kovacic has gone down. So here comes Zouma, who started the first 4 Premier League games. He came on as a sub for the injured Rudiger at Wolves last weekend. And the problems are mounting for Frank Lampard inside the final 3 minutes of this first half. And he's lost 2 of his back 4 that started the game. Henderson furious with Alexander-Arnold. Kovacic. Conte threads it in between a couple of Liverpool midfielders, but Mane brings it clear for the Reds, and here's Firmino. He was looking for Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, Tammy Abraham has to do better there, securing the ball. Van Dijk read where he was going to turn, took the ball off him, and suddenly Liverpool have got 4 or 5 players in attacking positions, whilst Chelsea are breaking out, thinking Abraham's going to keep the ball and they're going to build an attack.
It's his 150th Premier League game today. His first Premier League win was here. We were here for it as well. They were excellent. Liverpool, a sign of things to come. He said during the week, in order to win the league, consistency is the key. Flag up against Tammy Abraham.
They're playing him well at the moment, that Liverpool back line. Every time he makes a movement, they make a counter move, Liverpool, and they're just catching him offside. It's very controlled from a Liverpool perspective, but it goes back to the point Lee was making about a midfield runner. They're just a little bit isolated from Tammy Abraham. If they can get, one of them can take a risk and get up with him, there's a chance that they can break that line.
But also, Graham, if you look at the pressure on the centre forward at Chelsea, because they don't get goals from midfield, you know, unless Mason Mount turns into a goal scoring machine, they don't get goals. Kovacic, no goals, 2 assists last season. Barkley, 3 goals, 5 assists. Kante, 4 goals, 2 goals for Jorginho. They just don't get goals from midfield. They're not that type of players, so a lot of emphasis on the centre forward to get you 15, 20 goals plus.
Well, Willian's done well against Alexander-Arnold. Would dearly love a goal before the interval here. Willian, it's blocked by Henderson. Here's Mount. Azpilicueta. There's the chip towards Abraham. Goal kick.
Yeah, good defending from Martip. Good effort from Abraham. It's a decent ball in, difficult to defend because it's not far away, the cross. You haven't got a lot of time to react. And he just peels off the back of Martip, but he gets enough on it and puts the centre forward off.
Over on NBC Gold at the Emirates.